Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back, and I hope you guys are doing fantastic out there. I've got an interesting video for you today. We're going to talk about a solar panel offering from Flexsolar. This is their foldable solar panel. The current retail price at the time of me filming this video for this panel is $249. However, right now you can pick this panel up for $209.95. Now, if you want to save 15% off on this solar panel, in the description box down below, I'll put a link to where you can find this, as well as a 15% off coupon code of Jiu-Jitsu 2000, and that coupon code is going to work until March 31st, 2022. So right here it says this is durable and weather resistant. It says lightweight foldable solar panel, charges multiple portable devices at the same time, 120 watts, foldable and portable solar panel. This is model FLC C4 201200-4, 120 watts, C120. So I'm very excited about this. On the side of the package, you don't see too much. And then on the other side, you don't really see too much. But let's go ahead and look at the back of the packaging. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about here. The Flexsolar 120 watt foldable solar panel. Take this with you on your outdoor travels with high conversion efficiency up to 24%. That's impressive. I can't wait to test this thing. It's ideally suited for outdoor life and unexpected power outages. The solar panel is lightweight and it only weighs 10.6 pounds. Foldable and features a comfortable handle and a carry bag for easy portability. Highly efficient. Premium solar cells with energy conversion efficiency of up to 22 to 24%. That's pretty cool. Optimized charging. It has an intelligent chip, automatically identifies connected devices and adjusts the output current to offer the fastest possible charging speed. So, man, this thing sounds very impressive. Right here it says multiple ports. The voltage switchable Anderson port, USB port, and USB-C port, and it says that USB-C puts out 60 watts, are ready to charge smartphones, tablets, power stations, coolers, and designed for use with motor vehicles and boats and more. Now, I can't wait to test this panel because my main purpose for having a foldable portable solar panel is to charge solar generators. Superior durability, industrial strength PET polymer, rugged polyester canvas, and carry bag provide lasting durability to protect against unpredictable weather conditions. Now here are some things, the general specs. The weight, again, 4.9 kilograms or 10.6 pounds. The dimensions of this is 65.1 inches by 22.2 inches by 0.2 inches. This is unfolded. That's 166.3 millimeters by 56.4 millimeters by half of a centimeter. Now the folded dimensions are 22.2 inches by 14.1 inches by 1.6 inches. That's 56.4 millimeter by 35.9 millimeter by 4.1 centimeters. Cable length, so you get a junction box to Anderson, that's 10 feet, and that's a 3-meter cable. Anderson to DC is 1 foot, 0.3 meters. Alligator clip, 1 foot, 0.3 meters. And Anderson connector, 1 foot or 0.3 meters. This panel is IPX5 water resistant, so that's very cool. Warranty is 2 years. I'm just so excited about this. Solar, 120 watts. Open circuit voltage, 23.7 volts. Maximum power point voltage, 19.8 volts. Maximum power point current, 6.06. And short circuit current is 6.36 amps. And the monocrystalline is the type of cell. There's some of the things that are included with this package. You get the solar panel, you get the Anderson to Mel connector, Anderson to alligator clip connector, you get the 1 foot Anderson bare wire connector, you get a 10-in-1. That's the 5.5 by 2.1 millimeter adapters. There's 10 of them in that pack. You get a pulse width modulation charge controller, you get a carry bag, and a user's manual. Let's go ahead and open this up and see what is included in this package. So we'll open this up here. Take a look. Wow, it comes packaged very well. Nice foam insert there. And there is the panel right there. I'm going to pull that out. There's nothing left in that box, so I might as well set that down. Flexsolar. So we're going to open this pouch and see what's included here. So you have a nice Velcro enclosure. Got a few things here. So wow, this is cool. This is a charge controller. 20 amp charge controller. This is pulse with modulation. And you can see that it has the connections already made with the Anderson ports already installed. Very cool. So you have the ports that'll connect to the solar panel. You also have the ports that'll connect to the battery. This does have load terminals and USB support. So very cool. Very nice that they include that with this panel. Now, if you don't know how Anderson works, I'm just going to plug these together just for illustration. They plug together just like this. And it makes a very nice clean connection. Cool thing about the Anderson is you clearly know which one's positive and which one's negative. The next thing we see is the adapters. There's 10 of them, and we're going to be using this one right here, that 8mm. That's the one that we're going to need to plug in to our charge controller. So you get quite a few options here. So you got that guy right there. That's the one we're going to use. Next thing you see here is Anderson to 5.5 or 2.1 millimeter. So that is the connection that we're going to need also. So this is what we'll need right here to do our stuff. So we're going to take that 8mm that I showed you just a second ago. We're going to plug that bad boy on just like that. And that's what's going to hopefully help us charge our solar generators. So very cool. And the next thing we see here is Anderson to just alligator clamps. They come with like a little rubber band around them, so we'll take that off. And let's see how large these are. Oh yeah, those are plenty big. Look at that. My whole thumb will fit in there. So these can go directly to a battery, positive and negative, and of course they have that Anderson connector. So I like that they're using Anderson on this. Very cool. That's a good connector. Now the next thing we see is the user's manual. So there is your owner's manual right there. Table of contents. A little bit of information. Feel free to pause if you want to hang on to any of this. We're going to go to the next page. Right there. And right here is the specifications. And right here is also some more information. Shows all the little adapters down there too. And then down here it talks about the charge controller. This is a PWM charge controller. And then of course more information on that charge controller. And there's some of the displays that you'll see on that charge controller. So very cool. What do we have on the back here? Looks like we have some more specs. These are charging parameters for the charge controller here. And I'm hoping that you're seeing all this. What's in the box? How to operate this panel, what you got to do. Choose a good sunny location, gives you a little bit of information. And then maintenance on the panel, what do you got to do? Warranty information right down here. and a little bit if you need some service. And then of course right there, very close, I'm gonna have to get real close here. Hopefully you're being able to read that. That's some of the specs on the panel. And then of course right there is some contact information. 120 watts monocrystalline. So that's what it looks like. This is the case that everything fits in. A little dirty here on my bench. So you open the case and then the solar panel itself slides right out. Just like this. So now this is the panel itself. So on the back side, this is the business end right here. This is where we're going to make all of our connections. Got a nice little bag here. For us to connect to our solar generator, we're just going to connect this, and this is going to plug right in. Very nice interface. So right here on the right, you've got a standard USB. Then you have a USB 3.0 right here. You got the indicator light, which will illuminate red when you're exposed to the sunlight, and then it'll turn green when you plug something into this USB-C port right here. This one here where my thumb is. And then of course you got your DC output, which has that Anderson that I showed you, and then we have the 8mm adapter. It's very cool. All the stuff on this junction box is readily available and easy to use. So very cool. You can charge phones, you can run tablets, things like that as you're charging a solar generator. I think it's fantastic. And there's a better look at the junction box. So it tells you right here USB. This is going to give you 5 volts at 3 amps. And then if you go to the USB 3.0, you can get 5 volts 3 amps, 9 volt 2 amps, or 12 volt 1.5 amps. That's the max that you can get there. And then if you go to the USB-C, you can get 5 volt 3 amp, 9 volt 3 amp, 12 volt 3 amp, 15 volt 3 amp, or 20 volt 3 amp. And then of course the DC output, you get 20 to 28 volts and 120 watts maximum output. So we'll go ahead and put this back in here for now, temporarily. We're going to open up this panel and take a look and see what the cells of the panel looks like. There's no feet. There's no legs for this panel. In fact, it says in the directions that this panel is designed to lay flat on its back, facing straight up. Now, I think you'll get better performance if you can angle this, lean it against something, and angle it towards the sun like a standard panel should be. We're going to open that Velcro, and you've got one panel there. There's 2, 3, and 4. So you have four different panels. These are about 30 watts a piece. Pretty crazy. That thing's huge. Probably the biggest solar panel that I've had on this bench so far. You can also see that there's little grommets right here on the sides. Okay, so on each side you got there, you have 2 there, and then if you go to the next one, you have 2 here, and then you go to the third one, you got 2 here, 1 there, and 1 there. So you basically have tie-out points on every panel. So very cool. I like this. I have a feeling this thing is going to perform very well. And there you can see we have the panel laid on the ground just as we're supposed to, and we are bringing in 72 watts. Well, I shaded the panel a little bit, so I kind of messed with the readings. 61, hopefully you're seeing that. 71 watts. So not too bad. Not too bad of input to get out of this panel. Now I'm thinking that if I could aim this at the sun at a correct angle and things like that, because the sun is up here, if I could get a better angle, I think the input would increase tremendously. It's fairly easy to set this up in a traditional way. So we're going to start by opening the pouch on the outside of the bag. We're going to pull out the charge controller right there. So we're going to pull that out, set it aside. We'll take the pouch off of the solar panel. So this is a good process if you have maybe a deep cycle battery available. So we'll open this back pouch and we will take out this cable. And if you have the Anderson to 8mm or 5.5, you want to take that off. So we're just going to poke this cable out through the pouch here with the Anderson on it. We're not going to hook anything up yet though. Okay, so we'll just set the solar panel aside for a second with that. We're going to come right back into this pouch and we're going to grab the alligator clips with the Anderson connector. Okay, so we'll grab our deep cycle battery right there. We will plug in our positive and our negative to the battery. So negative is there, positive is there. We will plug this into the battery portion of the charge controller right here. What that'll do is that'll allow our charge controller to come to life. We have to make the battery connection to the charge controller before we connect the charge controller to the solar panel. So from here, we're just going to lay the solar panel out and then we'll connect it to the charge controller. And from there, we'll pretty much have a traditional solar setup. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward process. Just lay this thing down, something like this. We will come to the charge controller here, plug that Anderson in, and at this point, we can now generate power to charge this deep cycle battery. Very simple setup. If you want electricity, then what we can do is plug in whatever power inverter we want to our battery. Plug the negative terminal first, and then the positive terminal, and now we have a traditional solar setup that's charging this battery. We can turn on this power inverter and now run tools or whatever we need to run off of this power inverter. This is a very simple setup, and this panel can definitely do stuff like this. Let's take a closer look. So right here we have 120 watts flexible. The line is coming out of that. It's going into the charge controller, and then of course the charge controller is connected to the battery. You got to do that first, like I said. And then we have the wires off the battery going to our power inverter. Our charge controller, which is showing the solar working, we have 13.7 volts. We have our load terminal is on. Push that again, it turns our load terminals off. We can charge cell phones or whatever kind of USB devices we want. And this is very, very easy to set up on the go. This is not something that you would want to set up long term to leave out in the elements, obviously, because let's not forget this solar panel is only IPX5 water resistant. If you want something that's going to withstand wind and rain and stuff like that, you'll need a rigid solar panel. Now, if you have a building or maybe a shed or something that's facing the south, you could put a couple screws in the side and use those grommets, those orange little dills, and hang this panel up on the side of like the south side of a shed or something like that. Now, if you see a storm coming or weather's rolling in, then you can pull that panel off very easily. All you have to do is disconnect this Anderson. That simple. It's very, very easy to do. And then you can take that panel inside, and then when the storm clears, you bring it back out and plug this Anderson right back in, and you'll see right there that the charge controller comes back to life. We never took it off of the battery, so that's what made it okay for us to do that. But this is a very cool function, very cool operation that you could easily do with this panel, and it comes with everything you need except for the deep cycle battery and the power inverter. It does come with the charge controller. It comes with all the connections you need. Like I say, the only thing that you need to add is the deep cycle battery and the power inverter of your choice. Okay, so as far as the charge controller is concerned, right now you can see that we're on the main display. If we push this, you'll see that it'll go to this icon. That's telling us we're float or CV voltage. If we push this again, we get this discharge reconnect value. And then if we push it again, we'll get the discharge stop push it again, we get the work mode. And then the next one, 601 or B01, that's the battery type. This one is really important. There's many different battery types that we can program this charge controller for. So we see B01, which is telling us that it's a sealed battery. If we want to change the value, we will just long hold this button until we see it flashing. Just be patient here. B01 is a sealed battery. And then if we change the value by pushing up or down, we see B02 is gel, B03 is flood, and then 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all lithium settings. So based on if we have a 4-strand, 5-strand, 3-strand, or a 4-strand. So there's those 4 settings right there for lithium batteries. But for us, we're going to go back down to B01 because we have actually we need to go to B03. We have a flood battery. This is a lead acid battery. So now we'll push and hold, and we will enter that value into the charge controller. There we go. Now it resets, and it's going to give us the parameters based on this setting right here on a flood battery. Okay, so we have a 20 amp charge current. We're using a flood battery, and then it's going to give us all of our voltages and things that we need in accordance to that type of battery, a lead acid battery. You see my phone sitting here. It's time to charge peripherals. Charge your phone, charge your laptop, your GoPro, whatever the case is. So I've got this USB coming off of my phone. I can charge it from 3 locations. I can charge it from the power inverter. And if you listen, you'll hear the noise on my phone when I plug this in. There goes my phone charging off of the power inverter. If you don't want to do it off the power inverter, you could do it off of the charge controller. There it goes off of there. And the third option is directly off of the solar panel itself. So let me come on over here. We got to get to the back to this little junction box where we have this port coming off right here. And I'm hoping that you can see this in the video. We'll plug it in right there. There it goes. So you got 3 different ways of charging your phone off of this system. Okay, let's check in and see what we got going on here. It's laying on the ground. And how many watts are we bringing in? 82 watts of input. A second ago, I saw 83. So that's fantastic for something that's just sitting on the ground. This panel is a good performer. I'm looking at 82 watts right now as we speak. That's fantastic. Noticing that the sun is off to my left here. So I'm gonna try to aim my pickup truck to where it's aimed right at the sun. Look at that, something like that. That looks like a good place. One of my favorite ways to set up this solar panel is to park my truck aimed at the sun and use the angle of the windshield to give it a good angle for the sun. So let's take a closer look at that. Right now I'm getting 115 watts, 117. I hope the camera is picking that up. 118 watts of input out of this panel. And all I had to do was aim it at the sun and place it right on my windshield of my truck. Works like a champ. And as you can see, doing it this way, we're getting over 40 watts more input. So that's fantastic. My final thoughts on this solar panel is it's fantastic. I like it for putting over the windshield. I'm getting currently 115 watts out of this solar panel. This thing is performing very well. And I'm not even aimed directly at the sun. I'm just pretty close. So if you're somebody that's going to be parking or maybe camping, maybe like in my Chinook, for example, I could just stretch this out across the windshield. It's going to be fantastic. I'm really enjoying these numbers. 115 watts. That's really impressive. So I want to say thank you for watching this video here today. Thank you to Flexsolar for sending this monocrystalline folding solar panel out for review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please check the description box down below. I'll put links to where you can find this solar panel. And until next time, again, thank you for watching. Hope you have a beautiful day. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.